Yeah, I never thought she was that attractive. I mean, like, her face was always kind of weird to me, you know?
You have a lot of opinions for a man with pigtails.
Yeah.
You're like so picky.
Guys, welcome back to another episode of
You Can't Say That.
Hey, Dylan was so hesitant on whether or not to participate with us. He was looking me right in the eyes. That's so funny. All right, we got a very special guest today. Introduce. Now, before we get to our wonderful guest, this is Corey the T-Wizard. Corey has realized that he's in the shot. And what you're about to see next is Corey awkwardly attempt to scooch on out of frame. He was severely unsuccessful. So for the length of this episode, located on the right of your screen, you'll see an ethnically tanned arm. Sure, we could have cropped this out, but we didn't. Sir.
Mary Kate Beck.
Okay.
Hello. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Thanks for coming here.
Manny, Mary Kate, Sophie.
She just snuck in here last night, and we were like, okay, goddamn it, if we put you on the show, would you come off? And she was like, yeah. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
It's nice to have you here. You're a local comic. This is actually our first time meeting, you know,
Yes.
which isn't the first time I have it on the show. You're also our first female guest, not to gender you. I don't mean to misgender you.
That's all right. I am female
Okay.
identifying, if you couldn't tell.
Right,
I'm very basic.
What?
You're our first basic
I am
female.
binary, baby.
I love it. Yeah, man. Yeah, you're our first woman guest. We never had a
woman guest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, I love your name. I think it's very iconic.
Thank you. A lot of people don't know this. I am named after a 1950s Irish movie. It's called The Quiet Man.
The Quiet Man.
And it's based in Kong, Ireland, and it revolves
look
around
that
this
up?
woman, and her name's Mary Kate Danaher in the movie. So a lot of people assume that I'm named after the Olsen twins, but
Oh, yeah.
I think I was born like around the same time that like Full House.
Are
was
you sure
coming
your
out.
parents are not BSing you? They saw Full House. They're like,
I
you
mean,
know what?
They
You
swear
know?
to God.
Banger. Yeah.
But I hold true to
Did I
that.
spell that right?
So it was Maureen O'Hara, and she apparently was like a big activist too in real life. Like,
Really?
she was an actress, but then off screen she like advocated for like people of color, gay rights, women in
Oh, wow.
entertainment. So,
Ooh.
and this was like in the 50s. So she's
Damn, in the
a
50s.
baller,
Goddamn.
So
She was out there protesting. She couldn't even vote and shit. You know what I mean?
yeah, I love her. So
That's
she's a
what's
bad bitch, but
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
the Olsen twins are fucking weird, and I don't want to be associated.
No. At a minimum, those bitches are weird. They're
Yeah.
weird. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. I know for a while, you know, they're just that classy, you got fame too early type shit, you know? Like, it clearly fucked them up.
And
You
then
know, by
the people
time
that
they
are
were
like, they're
15.
fashion icons now. I'm like, what fashion line? Never
Oh,
heard
I know,
of
I
any
know.
other.
I don't know
They
the
were
name
in
of
J.C.
it.
Penney 20 years ago. What?
Well, no, they
know.
have a
What are they
really
still doing?
awesome fashion line.
What is
that-
Yeah,
it, though?
Maddie's all for
What's
it.
the name of it?
Maddie's like, well, this
I
shirt
don't know because
actually.
I can't afford
No
it.
one knows the name.
Well, look up the name.
Yeah, I literally never heard of
Yeah,
it.
watch it be like Gucci,
It's-
and we don't even know. It's like,
called-
they made Gucci? Wow. What the
I
fuck?
bet if you lined up 100 people and you're like, what's Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen's fashion line?
and
No
mine-
one would
no,
know.
I
All right,
don't
what-
know
It's
at all.
What's it called?
Is
We
it?
don't
We
know.
don't
That's the
know.
thing.
No,
we don't know the name.
You got to put Google to
Is,
work here,
isn't it
buddy.
called like
But
low?
everyone's like, we
All right.
swear they have a conglomerate. It's
No, but they
amazing.
do.
I'm like,
Oh, that's fine.
It's
Prove
called Lone Star or something like that. I know that they had a
Lone
company.
Star? That's like a gas station in Texas.
Okay, maybe it's not Lone Star. No, you have to say it with an
It's
accent.
called
Lone Star.
Now you just solidified the fact that no
It
one
sounds
ever
like
heard
a
of it.
check
If it's called Lone Star,
Is it
no one.
Thoreau?
heard of it.
Maybe if that's yeah.
To grow.
Yep.
Good Lord.
That's
this
them.
is awful.
I know. Look at that. What is?
I
it?
didn't say it was good. I just said I know that they have a fashion line.
that. What the fuck?
So
That suit, there's
what
nothing
they
you can
lean
say about
into is quiet, rich,
Adam-
quiet like fashion.
They lean,
Stupid.
they lean into the Addams family attire. It seems like, you know.
It's
kinda
very
what it seems like,
boxy.
yeah.
All right, you know what?
Yeah, it looks
I'm sorry
horrifying.
we made you.
And it's really expensive. It's like $5,000 just for the stupid jacket.
What the
Right.
fuck? Buy $5,000 for like a shitty 1990s two-piece? Like, are you kidding me?
No, not two-piece. Just the jacket.
Oh, just a jacket? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. I guess maybe, you know, if you're into fashion, I guess you might know who they are. I never heard of them. To me, I know. I think of Kanye West when I think about celebrities and fashion. Then I think of Jessica Simpson. For some
Yeah,
reason,
her shoe line.
I know. Yeah, because I get.
She signed an exclusivity act.
Yo,
so
listen. I don't wear female
runs the
shoes,
show.
but Jessica Simpson.
Whoa. I didn't
I
know
heard
that.
you. Like I heard your shoes. Been
Did you
busting.
say Rihanna as well?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, really? Oh, does she?
In Fenty.
Rihanna has Puma.
And Kylie and Kendall have
she
their
has a
line.
line.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
She's under
But
contract.
Kylie and Kendall have their line that was in PacSun.
PacSun?
Yeah.
I do have one of their swimsuits.
Yeah.
What the fuck is
I have one of
Pop
their
off.
swimsuits and I have a pair of their shorts.
Yeah.
So.
I have a pair of their lingerie.
Oh, you know it's crazy. They don't even sell that.
Yeah, well,
Where'd you-
you have to be a member. You gotta be a member of a membership. You know? That's it.
So you are a local stand-up comic. How long have you been doing it for?
I started stand-up comedy in 2016, so it's been about
Oh wow. A little while.
7 years
Dang.
now.
Dang.
So I'm not the best, but I'm not the worst.
Well,
I think you're pretty good.
and
There's a
life
reason why you're
doesn't
here.
necessarily equate to how good you are. You know, I think it
yes,
shows
it
that.
does, man.
Well, I mean, well, to a certain
What
degree.
are you
well,
talking
to a
about?
certain degree. To a certain degree. That's funny, but yeah, I mean, it's certainly true that it helps for sure. But to a certain degree, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't really, you know, I can't tell by how good you are by how long you've been doing it, you know, per se, you know. But and then of course there's a lot of comics I don't even like. I don't even
But
laugh
if you're
at
still
anyway.
the worst
Yeah.
after 7 years,
Yeah,
Jeez, there's some
at
of
what point
those.
should you throw in the towel? You know, at that point, you know what I mean.
after a year. No,
After.
after about 30 days of sucking.
Yeah.
ass,
Yeah.
just quit.
And you can't get a
Quit.
laugh. Just go
Yeah.
into slam poetry.
Yeah.
That's funny. I wonder if there was a comedian that just fucking got famous after sucking dick for fucking 14 years or something.
They're out there. Look at Joe Rogan. I mean,
Dude, I never found that motherfucker's comedy funny, bro. I never found his comedy funny at all.
his comedy now is just a TED Talk.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like one of those comics that scream at you the whole time. I don't even know why. You guys like, dude, shut the fuck up. You don't have to like use your indoor voice.
But
goddammit.
him
You
with
know?
hair was rather hysterical to see because he
Him with
does.
hair, yeah.
He does. He shouldn't have hair. Should have never had hair. He doesn't have a hair head.
I just miss the Fear Factor, Joe Rogan.
I know that's when he was.
Okay,
shit.
That's a
yeah,
good one.
that's
Yeah.
his best era.
I miss
Yeah.
him. I miss him like trying to like emotionally like cruise people through trying to eat bull testicles and shit. He's like, just swallow it. You don't have to taste. Just it's all in your head.
But
you don't have to use your tongue.
turns
You know
around
what I
I
and
mean?
wanted people to win, though.
Yeah.
Worth
No,
the
it was good.
$50,000.
Yeah. It was good, man. It was good. I mean, I was at home like Joe Rogan has me feeling like I could eat a fucking. You know what I mean?
I don't
Steak.
even need the 50,000. I'll just eat it.
I don't think
Your mom-
$50,000 is worth, like, do you remember the glass coffin
Ooh.
filled with cockroaches?
Those are the worst.
You
Wow.
would just lay in a glass
Yeah.
coffin and they would just dump
I ain't gonna lie.
buckets
Listen,
of cockroaches onto
listen,
your body.
listen.
Absolutely not.
I do.
I'd be
I
like,
do.
Quit.
I'm okay.
Yeah, you broke me. Do you feel happy now?
Yeah.
You
I
won.
generally agree that those are the worst type when they have you inside like a tank. But I grew up poor as fuck. You know what I mean? I have a symbiotic relationship with cockroaches. I grew up with them motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like,
Family.
So I feel like, bro, you can lay me in them. I'll do that shit all day for 50. I'm like, lay them bitches on me, bro. You ain't biting me.
Yeah.
You ain't doing shit. You know what I mean?
I know. What's the worst that could happen? They're
Yeah,
just creepy.
Yeah, no, they just feel weird, you know?
Yeah.
Unless, I found out from that show, actually, that if you have shellfish allergy, you can be allergic to cockroaches. So whatever's in the shellfish, it
Ew,
triggers
fuck.
that type of shit. Yeah,
Because
so
they have a shell?
I don't know what the don't ask about the science. I heard
Maybe.
that. It might not. I mean, I heard it on the internet.
Will you
somewhere,
look it up, Nick?
No,
will you
yeah, I
double
actually
check?
heard-
What-
Will you double check to see if you have a
Nick's
shell?
like, I was not listening.
Yeah.
This is my only job.
He's
is
still
to
looking
listen
at the
and I don't want
fashion
to.
website.
Yeah, at least we're not giving that fucking
All right.
stupid video view. Whatever.
If you have a shell allergy, are you allergic to cockroaches?
Shellfish allergy.
Shellfish.
Why the fuck y'all this is
Oh,
a
yeah,
fucking
huh,
comedy
shellfish.
podcast. Why you fact checking me like that? All right, God damn it. All right,
I mean,
that's part of
Because
it.
it's going to be
You know,
hysterical.
What are you
when
guys
you're
gonna
wrong.
fucking eat a cockroach
What's the
later? You're fucking
correlation?
concerned.
I'm right. That's what I'm trying to find out too.
No, I learned this from I think
is a culprit out.
Manny, you're
And
full of
insects
shit.
like crickets, fruit
yeah. Google
flies,
just says Manny's a piece of shit.
tropomyosin. I don't even know how to say that.
Okay, no, you're right. It's right.
But yeah, I guess.
Yeah, you're
You
right.
know, even a
According
broken
to the
clock.
bar chart.
According to the web, like Google.
Yeah, he has like a fucking sports bracket up. What the fuck is this,
Yeah.
bro? He's like checking the Notre Dame game. And
That's
shit.
crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how to fucking read that right
Yeah,
now.
fuck that anyway. It's cool. All right, well, I got lucky that time, all right?
Yeah,
Most
good for
of the
you.
lies I make up
We'll
don't-
give you the
don't check
benefit of
out,
the
Yeah,
doubt.
right.
You guys out here
From here
fucking
on out.
fact checking like I'm Donald Trump and shit. Hold up. You know?
He never gets fact checked.
Yeah, well, I mean, he just talks a bunch of shit. Everybody
Yeah.
fact checks his ass, you know?
Afterwards,
Yeah.
but we like to do it actively.
Yeah, you can put a lot of heat on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
real,
we're like, hold
yeah,
that.
that
Yeah.
real time.
Let's
Yes, let's
double
pause the
check.
whole podcast while we prove this motherfucker wrong. Yeah, fucking second here. That's funny. So, 2016, right?
Yes.
What made you get into comedy? Were you thinking about doing comedy before that? Did you always have an itch for it? Or like what made you, push you over the edge to say I want to do this?
Yeah, I would say probably my biggest inspiration was a comedian. Her name's Molly Carney.
Molly Carney.
And they're on SNL now. And we went to the University of Dayton together. And
oh, wow.
It's a funny story. She dropped out for a couple of years to do Second City. And then...
That was a dumb move.
Came back to finish their senior year. And then I saw them do an open mic. She was like, I'm just going to do this open mic. I just, have the itch. I want to, get this story.
Oh, you saw her do her
chest.
first open mic?
It wasn't her first, but it was the first that I had seen
I see. Gotcha.
them performing, and I was like, this is awesome. And after that, it was one of those things where I was like, I can do this. I've always had a storytelling knack. And then I'm born and raised from Chicago, which is, a comedy mecca. Growing up, you're going to comedy shows.
Of course. Oh, yeah,
there's Second City, there's all these
a lot of
things.
improv. There's a very popular improv school up there.
Yeah, so I started seeing Molly have some success. There was another girl that I went to high school with that also had success. And it was just one of those things where I was like, I reached out to them, what are you doing? I have this itch. I'm living with my parents. I need to get the fuck out of this house. Just as a hobby at first.
Yeah.
And I took a stand-up writing class and... so it was a 6-week long class, and it was 5 weeks in a classroom with the teacher, running through ideas, practicing jokes, because there is a method to joke structure and storytelling and stuff like that. So just kind of learning the basics was really helpful for me. And then the 6th week of the class was an open mic, where you invite your friends, your family, you test out all the jokes that you did during the 6 weeks. And you do 5 minutes. They filmed it for you. And I remember not bombing.
Okay.
I wasn't the best, but I didn't eat it. And I was like, all right, I think we have something here. And then you just get addicted to that adrenaline. Yeah, there's nothing more fulfilling than getting a laugh from a room of people that you don't know.
Yeah, no, there is. It's certainly a high.
And it fills you up. So it's just kind of been chasing that, fulfillment and that excitement ever since. So I love it. I mean, I do it a couple times a week. It's not, my full-time thing, but it is super gratifying, and I've learned a lot. I've met really great people. So it's just been great. I love it.
I will say, though, because I have a similar experience. Well, my first time I ever did it, I didn't bomb, and I hear that happens a lot of times, And for me, it happened so quick. It was so almost rehearsed and performative in my mind. I just had it. I wasn't given any breaks for laughter. I wasn't even sure, because I remember at the time, it's really listening to leading up to that is listening to comedy CDs, and I'm listening to the CDs. So this is in theaters and shit. Every time they do a joke, there's a laughter, right? So when I was on stage doing it, I didn't hear a big roar, but there's fucking 12 people in a fucking, it's just behind a fucking Shell gas station and shit somewhere, So then, so there wasn't, but then when I went back and I looked at the tape, people were laughing, and everyone came up to me afterwards too. They were like, "Yo," and I had this wheelchair bit, right? Making fun of people in wheelchair. One of the things that cracked me up was I made an analogy of because I did see someone on the bus one time. But he was being a dick, right? It was in New Jersey. He was a guy in a wheelchair, and he was being a complete ass, right?
Because his life sucks.
Yeah, I get that. No, I get that. Listen, I'm not making any judgment. I'm just objectively, he was just being a dick, okay? So, no, not to me, but to the bus driver started telling him to strap in. I think he didn't want to strap in and shit, right? And he went on the back. He was in the middle of the aisle where you're not supposed to be or whatever. So, I'm not going to say the bus driver did this deliberately, but dude, at one point he hit the brake so fucking hard. Yo, that motherfucker flew off his wheelchair, bro. Just flying, bro. And when I told the story, I'm like, yo, his legs were dangling like the ribbons on the kite.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then I asked him some other jokes about how I was kind of envious of wheelchair people because you get to sit down all day and you get to get parking spots. Shit like leaning towards that and shit. And then afterwards, some big Samoan guy came up to me. The first time doing it with Mike. 2 of them. They were cousins and shit, And then he was like, oh, hey, my nephew's on a wheelchair. And then I was like, oh shit. And then he was like, man, the show's hilarious, man. I'm just joking with you. Like he said, I was like, oh my God. I was like, please, you can have everything, you know. Yeah, you can have my virginity, just don't take my wallet, please. Let me have my wallet, you know. But do you think that would have changed if you would have bombed that first time? Do you think that would have? How do you think that would have changed your?
Probably. I'm a fragile person.
Oh, yeah.
But I think people either have it or they don't, and I don't think you know if you have something until you try it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think if I had never tried it, I never would have known that this is something that I could potentially have fun with and take somewhere. And I'm glad that I tried it. I mean, I'm not famous or anything.
Yeah, no, but you're
just having fun.
Not yet, girl. Wait a minute.
It's fulfilling. I love it. I think if I just had my 9-to-5 job, I just would like look back on my life and be like, fuck. So it's just not enough.
Right.
What aspect of it do you like the most? Would you say, like, what keeps you coming back?
I mean, the gratification of making people laugh. I do think people go to comedy shows to escape, and
that's true.
Getting that positive affirmation after a show, and people that you've never met come up to you, they seek you out, they want to shake your hand and say, "You were hilarious. I had a great time tonight." There is something just so awesome and how that feels, but it's also very selfish and narcissistic in 100%. A way. Like, if there wasn't that affirmation or assurance, there wouldn't be a reason to keep going back, in my opinion. Like, what would I be getting from it? So I think selfishly I am getting, that confidence boost, people, boosting your self-esteem, but also at the same time, it's fun. I feel like it keeps me sane in a way. Like, how can I take a story or an event in my life, make it funny, or just, do you ever have those thoughts you just like harp on, and then when you say it out loud on stage and someone else is like, that's so relatable, and you're like, thank God, because I feel like I'm going insane. Like, one other person as weird as me out there, Yeah, so stuff like that, where like if something that you thought was so personal clicks with something else or someone else, also feels really good.
Bringing up the narcissistic thing, I have narcissistic tendencies. That's from a therapist. I'm completely content with it. I'm okay.
Yeah,
and
same.
So
small doses, I think.
It's fine.
A lot of people fucking hate themselves. And I'm sorry for liking myself a little bit.
I'm great. Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And so I left an open mic the other night, and I was talking to this newer stand-up comedian, and he was asking me advice, and this is weird because I've only been doing it for 9 months, and I took 3 months out of those 9 months off.
She's being very liberal. Exactly. Being very liberal with her.
Exactly. And there's this drunk guy who walked out, and he was saying, he's like, "Oh, you were so funny, XYZ," and I was like, "Thanks," but like me and him were trying to have this conversation, and I was trying to give him advice, and I was like, somebody's asking me for advice, and so we were talking about if people don't laugh, and I said, I don't mind if people don't laugh at my favorite jokes because I know they're funny. I find them funny. And then it makes me laugh that they're not laughing, and then they laugh because I'm laughing because I think the joke is funny. Or the fact that there's nobody's laughing. And the drunk guy goes, "What if nobody laughs?" And I go, "It doesn't mean I'm not having a good time."
You go home and you kill yourself. That's what you do.
Someone said to me one time, they just had I don't know where they came up with this statistic, but they were like, just think about it where 80% of what you write is trash.
Right.
It's just your thought. It came, it went, you tried it on stage, it doesn't work. Just know that 20% of it's going to work. And then you just hold on to that 20%, mold it into a set, and then you have something. But if you think that every single fucking thought that you have is going to be hilarious, you're a loser. Like, that's not how it works.
100%.
You just have to trial and error. So people aren't going to laugh at everything. But
so you essentially
depending
on
on
a loser. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
you're saying everything doesn't
so
work,
the guy goes, well, I told him, I was like, I can still have a good time. He goes, well, even though people don't laugh, do you think that makes you, like, do you think you're not funny? I go, no, I don't need the validation of other people to think that I'm funny. I already know I'm funny. I get validation out of them laughing, but that doesn't, take away from that. And then the other comedian who just walked out, he goes, well, you're kind of delusional, aren't you?
Dude, I wish someone would ask me for advice. I'd just make up shit. I'm like, what you got to do is go home and drink, like, 4 cups of Nestle Quick with honey, 1 teaspoon of honey.
But you got to do it
You're
in a
"You sure
handstand.
this
I'm
is
the
gonna-"
same way with like directions.
Yeah, he's just writing
go
it down.
2 streets down, and then
Like,
I go
grab a
left,
napkin, write this shit
then
down.
right at the second light.
Yeah. Right, he's like, all right, I'm in Georgia now. Are you sure this is gonna make me funnier? I mean, I got the honey here. It's a fucking dumbass.
So how much of your first set did you keep, or jokes that you kept from your first set?
Oh, 0 of the
Zero?
jokes I still use. But that was also 6 years ago. I was
That's very fair.
24.
Did you-
Like, I'm a completely
Oh.
different person now.
Oh, I thought you were younger.
Thank you so much.
You're
Botox
very welcome.
every 3 months. I paid to look younger.
You're
thank
30.
you.
You're 31.
I'm 30 years old.
You're 30,
I will
okay.
be 31.
You're just bad at
soon.
math. She's not 30.
Well, it was like
what
7
that
plus 24. I was like, close
I
to
didn't
it.
even attempt. Notice I
Yeah.
don't want to shut the fuck up.
No
I was like,
way.
all right, well,
No, I
I'll
was
do
like,
the math later. Hold on.
not that it matters, but I was like super excited. I was like, yeah, somebody like my age is going to come onto the podcast.
Oh, thank you. How old are you? Like
20,
18?
24.
God bless your heart.
I
She's
thank
a
you. I
baby.
pay
Everyone
for
else is
it.
over it.
Yeah.
We're all pretty much in our 30s, I think, right?
Yeah, early 30s.
Yeah, you got a long way, man.
Except T-Wiz.
Yeah, let's call it early.
Late 30s.
Late 30s.
Living it up in
Well-
the future, baby.
Well, Maddie is the only one with a good head on her shoulder. She's like, I have
Damn.
property.
Okay. You hear that, Dylan?
She's like, I'm a real estate investor. I'm opening businesses. I'm like, you're only 24? Good
She just
lord.
knows from the aesthetics, from looking at us, that we don't have our lives together. She's like, I know you guys don't have fucking houses. She just fucking. Just like, Maddie's the only one.
She's just rattling off her goals before we started recording. I was like,
I know.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we're here.
And now
to,
I feel terrible about
That's
myself
what-
because
yeah.
I only have done a third of the things that she's
Yeah.
done, and I'm 6 years older than her.
Yeah, I know you.
I'm like, way to make me feel
But
good
you
about
have a
myself.
boyfriend.
You think you feel bad? I'm on, like, I should be higher on the patriarchy and shit. She's like fucking, you know what I mean, doing better from below and shit. I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like looking down and shit. I'm like, damn, Maddie.
Dude.
She's doing great.
Your
Yeah,
house
you
is
Maddie
nice.
fan.
Yeah. I'm struggling out here. Shit, that's funny. You know? Shit, no, but that's good. All right, so let's get into some of these topics, I guess.
The topics?
Yeah, what are our
That is
What
a
are
great
they,
question.
Maddie?
Yeah.
Did you write anything down?
Yeah,
Are we
Maddie.
talking about topics?
It's like a hot potato. Yeah,
Well, no,
Maddie.
I actually have. We're gonna shut that down real quick. What?
Shut the fuck up, Manny.
What was the time that you bombed that changed your life? You thought was funny, or you thought was just so bad that you went home and drank?
A time that I bombed so hard. So I kind of have this rule now or I guess I shouldn't say a rule, but I'm very traumatized by performing on Sunday nights because there's never a fucking turnout because
Right.
everyone's in their beds
Mhm.
preparing for the week. And then I'm just exhausted from a work week, a weekend.
Yeah.
Like
Sunday's that
it's
Sabbath
not
day.
good for my mental health. The audience, in my opinion, has never been that great.
Mhm.
So there was one time where I agreed to do the show, and they called it like the hillbilly comedy or like trailer trash something, and I was like, why the fuck? I was like, am I trash? Is that why you're asking me to do this?
Was it
like,
in Polk County or was it?
the whole theme seemed weird, and then I got there and there were like 4 people, and you could tell it was just like this group of like rednecks that like paid to rent out the venue, and there were like 4 of them, and I felt like I was a piece of cattle, like dancing on a stage. Like it just was not. I was like, this feels fucking weird. Like,
yeah.
you just,
Halfway through the second lap dance, she's like, I don't know, guys. This usually
like,
isn't
it
how it
just
goes.
fucking felt weird.
It
And
usually isn't how.
like I started performing, and this like old, like he was like a 400-pound guy in like overalls, just like started like commenting on my set, and I just like fucking lashed out. I was like, shut the fuck up, and like snapped. I was like, I just want to like do my set and go home. Like I'm fucking tired. I don't want to be here. This is the weirdest show I've ever been a part of. And I just like snapped on this guy, and then my whole rest of the set was just like radio silent because I went off too soon.
On stage, he came at you like that.
He was just like talking during my set and like saying comments like to me. I don't even remember what they were, but I like blacked out, snapped at this guy, and then had to eat shit for the 8 remaining minutes because I bit the hand that fed me on the fucking stage.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, I don't know what it was. I've also just like, if I have a bad feeling about a show, I'm gonna say no to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I don't
sounds
know,
like a
Sunday
shitty
nights
ass
are like
gig.
sacred for me. So I'm like
Yeah.
I don't really
Whoa.
perform on Sunday nights anymore.
No way.
I
Yeah.
can kind of dig that too. Sundays do feel like that's like.
I
for
need
me,
a reset day.
It is
like
a perfect
Yeah.
reset day.
Yeah.
Go home and watch 90 Day
think, yeah, they
Fiance.
say-
yeah, no one should be out of their house past 6 p.m. on a Sunday.
Yeah, I know.
Past
Should
9
be
a.m.
illegal.
They say
Just go
Saturday is
home.
Really
Yes.
Sabbath day.
Meanwhile, we're recording a podcast.
Yeah,
on
it's
a
right.
Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm like, I made
Yeah,
an
but
exception.
I want to be home.
I mean, you feel great that we drove you out here. You know? Bring out the 400-pound asshole. Come here. He's just imagine that. We just like it's an expose. Like,
It
yeah, we
was-
actually have him here. He wanted to confront you. He just sits down. He's
We
like,
have a caller,
I wasn't trying to talk about your set. You know, I was
but you sucked.
just trying to say.
Yeah, it was so traumatizing.
Yeah,
I
it
thought it
is.
was a cattle auction. I was just like, why am I fucking here? I was
A cattle. Did it smell like a petting zoo and that
like,
shit?
yes, everyone was sweaty.
Well,
It was
So how did you get
horrible.
invited to that show?
Some guy just messaged me on Facebook. I guess he saw me at like an open mic.
FarmersOnly.com. It was like, you know.
Just learn that you don't have to say yes to every show either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you get a bad, weird feeling about a show, I'm like, just trust your fucking gut. If you feel like it's gonna be a waste of time, sometimes it is, and that's okay to say
Yeah.
no.
Oh, 100%.
I'm
Yeah.
always with trust your gut.
Well,
bro.
that's how I feel about
Always.
open mics too. Like you just have a feeling before you go somewhere, and you're like, nah, I
Yeah.
shouldn't go tonight.
Yeah, sometimes it's okay to stay home too, because
Mm-hmm.
it's such a mental game too. It's like you kind of have to be in a good headspace,
100%.
and like I don't know, I just
And there is something too, also, like, because I've obviously had those times. I've gone to open mics and just hung out, not even fucking went up. You know, everyone's like, "You're not gonna?" I'm like, "No, I'm just gonna chill tonight." You know, but there is something sometimes when you push yourself. You know, like you feel that slump, and then you just try to. Push
Oh,
yourself through
that's
it, you
that's
know what I mean?
100% different.
It does. Like kind of. I don't know. Some of my better sets were kind of like when I was not intending to go up. You know, and I think that
Okay.
like afforded me to be a little more loose and where usually I'm like rehearsing my shit right before, before I go up, like I'm about to get on a play or something, so,
Oh, I do it in my car on the way to, and that's why I can never remember my sets.
That's
That's all I got.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's why you're always talking to yourself.
That I consistently, yeah, it's not my fault. I'm such a great conversationalist.
I can shut up to myself, Well, come on, what? So all right. So let's go with the Jonas. And tell me what happened with this Jonas brother. You said some exciting shit. First off, she asked Dylan earlier. She was like, "Hey, you know who Nick? Well, what Jonas is it?"
Oh, the hottest Nick Jonas
Oh, yeah, she was
brother
like, "You
is?
know who this Jonas Brothers is? He's the hottest one."
He goes, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that one.
I jerked off to him today.
Yeah. He's actually my screen.
I jerked off
Yeah.
to Dylan jerking off to him today.
So we discussed it, I think sometime last week. We talked about how, Joe took the kids and
He
they're
was married
painting
Cersei
to
from,
Sophie
whatever.
Turner
Game
from
of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, right? And how they were like, his team was just like slandering her all week, like all past few weeks actually.
It got hostile? Like it wasn't like
It was
Not
hostile.
Really?
No, it was a surprise for Sophie.
Damn. Oh, he snuck up on her ass?
Yeah.
With a divorce?
Remember when I told you? Did you hear about what she said? What was the nail in the coffin to get divorced?
No.
Oh my god, I love this story. So I feel like I'm a part of it. But so Sophie was walking up to their door, and the Ring camera, right? And so it recorded her conversation, and and it said, she said, "I don't care if the little one has diabetes."
About Nick? Oh, that's
Yeah,
fucking
the little
great.
one. I thought she was talking about her kids. I was
I
like,
did-
God damn, that's
Same.
funny.
I
You know?
was
Yeah.
like, that's kind of fucked
How do
up.
you
And
know
I
she's
was
not
like,
talking
oh,
about the
she
kids?
means
The
his
brother.
little brother.
Yeah.
The little one,
The
she
little
referred to
one.
him as the little one.
That
That's
it's
funny.
so funny.
How do you know she wasn't talking about her kids? It was just like a scapegoat.
Because they don't have diabetes.
How do you know, though? You know?
They
She-
could.
yeah, she-
I guess they
First off,
could.
how would
She's
they know?
definitely talking about Nick.
How would she
Yeah.
know?
Like,
First
a
off, how would
diabetes
she know if her
poster
youngest
child.
had
Oh, he
diabetes?
was.
How would she know if her youngest has diabetes? Because she obviously doesn't care. The motherfucker has diabetes, So he might, Now that's crazy. Now that's funny as fuck that she just referred to him as the little one.
It's the little. Oh,
what
it
a
makes me
candid
cackle.
moment to catch. You know what I mean?
It is.
But what has his semen say? What was the reasoning that they broke up?
So okay,
Was
so
it the
what? I'm
diabetes?
so glad you asked. No,
Oh.
but that was a nail in the coffin.
Oh.
Okay, so
What? Someone
what
else's
happened was
diabetes?
no,
That's
no,
over.
nothing with diabetes. We're dropping that.
okay.
That's in the past, right? That's in the past. So she had postpartum depression, like really bad, and she didn't want to go out to shows and stuff and
That's right, you were
get
saying,
yeah. get, to be a fucking object next to Joe because he's on tour right now. And so she would tell him, I don't want to go. He would make her go, and then she was extremely depressed. And then that's when he decided, and then she said the comment about the little one. And so then that's when his PR team went out and said, she's a partier, she wants to go out all night, she never take care of her kids, this, that, and another. So she sat and waited, and then it finally got dropped to the news that that's not true at all. The kids actually live in England. That's where,
Sophie lives.
Yeah.
Where Sophie lives. That's their primary place. And so technically now Joe has kidnapped the kids.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then so she went through, I don't know what consul, something over there, where it's a law. If you took the kids out of that state, you like have to give them back essentially. So now it's an international thing that's happening. And exactly. And so it's coming out that all this stuff, she's like, I like to stay at home.
Yeah, she's a homebody shit.
So
yeah,
I
but
just
she
feel
went
so
straight.
bad.
She went straight Game of Thrones on his ass. She's playing chess. That motherfucker playing checkers.
Right.
He dropping tweets about how she likes to party and shit. He's such a Christian. That's like she likes to party. What the fuck? Okay.
I saw a
She likes-
picture.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of her and Taylor Swift out.
Oh,
really?
shit!
On the internet,
You know he
not
hated
too
that.
long.
You
Well,
know,
she
Taylor
has
Swift
to
is-
go out once in a while.
Twitter.
She doesn't have the kids.
Yeah, Taylor Swift.
She's
Yeah.
Taylor Swift finally heard the story. I was like, "Come on, let me take you out, girl. Let me make this motherfucker real jealous." You know?
Yeah.
You would be in Dubai and shit. You know?
Hanging out with the football.
Yeah. We'll just
or
have a lot of
football
hot guys
boyfriend.
behind us in the picture. Not quite like we're hanging out with them. Just to get
Right.
them jealous.
But
Where they're
it
just
seems
there.
like no one would be talking about Joe Jonas if he was not with Sophie Turner.
Right.
And, like, the only reason I am interested in their relationship is because Sophie Turner is the shit. She's
Right.
the queen
Is she?
of the North. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you are a loser in a boy band.
Yeah, yeah,
She ran HBO for
You're
like
not even-
7 years.
Yeah.
You
Right.
ran the Disney Channel for like 18
yeah.
months. Like, she wins.
You're not
She's
even
better
better
than
than,
you.
like-
Like, how dare you think that you have this like big swinging dick like filing for divorce
Yeah.
against Sophie Turner? She will burn you to the ground.
Yeah, she's
I-
the fucking
I know.
queen of
She's
Game
the
of Thrones,
best.
bro. You
Like,
fucking- you know?
And
like,
she's
Joe
taller
Jonas,
than
stop trying
him.
to act like a hard ass.
Yeah,
She's
he's not even
the
on the. I mean, he's
coolest.
not even on the Backstreet Boys or In Sync. I mean, you try to come in there like, get the fuck out of here, bro. You know, it's not
Yeah,
even.
Sophie Turner
no.
wins.
100%.
I'm Team Sophie.
No one knows.
He's a
That's
fucking
why
dork.
you never date a short king.
No.
That's what moral of the story. I
I'm
think
like,
it
how
is.
did you guys? Why was she attracted to Joe Jonas?
She was 19.
She saw that promise ring, baby. He was like, listen, girl, let me
guess.
give you that promise
Well,
ring.
it's- Yeah, and then she immediately, what were they together for like 2 years or something like that, and then started popping out kids. I think they got
Damn.
married at 3 years, and she had her first kid by the time she was like 24 or
So
something.
it was explaining
Damn.
why
It's-
she's attracted to him.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah,
I
well,
don't.
it
Yeah.
just explains why she
Well,
was
it
chained
doesn't
down to him.
compute.
For
When I
a
was
long hair,
19, I was attracted to Joe.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably not. Come on, girl. He's
Yeah,
probably not.
but
an
to be
ugly
fair,
guy,
it's the
yeah.
nostalgia behind it. I was like, his hair, his like emo hair back in the day. I was like,
Yeah.
that was hot.
Just
So-
based off of his
That's
popularity.
Manny's type.
That's
She's
my
revealing
type.
about herself.
Yeah.
Just based on his
She's like,
popularity.
I have a thigh tattoo, so I love emo hair. I'm a sucker for bangs on a dude.
I don't even know what
I
any of them
am.
look
I
like,
also
but I will
have
say,
daddy issues.
Based on his popularity, I would fuck him. That's on the back that we're talking
Just based off
about,
of his
you know what I mean?
popularity?
Yeah. You know, based on the fact that we're
He's
talking
got
about,
enough
you
of
know.
a following.
I can see that, you know. No, but I'm sure he's not that ugly. Cersei, on the other hand, I never thought she was pretty though. Like I hated her face. Like she never liked her face.
Cersei?
Yeah, I thought she was like she's not ugly. She was the lead,
Sophie?
the most unpleasant.
He's talking about Cersei.
No, Cersei.
Who's that?
The shame girl who was fucking her
Oh,
brother.
not Shame. No, it's a redhead one, right? That's the one. that,
She is redheaded.
wait, is Ari?
but I think it was blonde. in the
Arya's
show.
sister, right? That's the one.
Wait, what?
Is
Yeah,
it like
what
Arya?
was
Who are
her
you
name
talking
in Game
about?
of Thrones?
From the girl from Game of Thrones? She was a sister to
Sophie
You're
Turner's
talking about
name in
Sophie's
Game of
character
Thrones.
was
Sansa.
Sansa. Yeah,
Cersei,
Yeah,
Cersei
get it right.
was
Yeah.
the one that fucked
Yeah,
his
Sansa.
brother.
Yeah, no,
Cersei
she was
fucking-
pretty hot. I
yeah,
liked
yeah.
her. I thought she was pretty. But the other one, but Cersei, yeah, I never thought she was that attractive. I mean, like her face was always kind of weird to me. You know, she was the most unpleasant one to look at. She's not particularly ugly. She's just something, you know. I don't know.
You
Abstract.
have a lot of
about face.
opinions for a man with pigtails. You're like so picky about these hot women.
It's because of these pigtails that I feel, you know, empowered enough
Yeah.
to talk
Is that what
about
it
it. You know,
is?
I have
Yeah.
these pigtails.
Hell
There's a lot
yeah.
of big
Hey,
pigtail
listen.
energy in
I'm
here.
just saying, you taking shots at Joe Jonas, you know. You know,
I mean,
he might have.
He's
been
taking shots at Sophie Turner.
She's taking
He's
shots.
defending
He
my
started
girl.
a war.
I didn't know you were on her defense team. Jesus Christ, goddamn! I got like the fucking her fan.
You're like
fucking,
Cersei's ugly.
Yeah. Next.
Yeah, it's like she has like Cersei on her screensaver and shit. You know? I'm joking.
Emily Clark, right? She's
Amelia
like
Clark
Emil-
was, that was a different character though.
Yeah, I know,
yeah.
no, but I'm saying I always thought she was so pretty. I love her and her character. She's just so cute.
I know.
Definitely.
She's adorable.
So much different when she has the blonde hair in the show. That's the Queen of Dragons.
That's how wigs work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she stood up for herself. She was like, I'm not showing my titties anymore on this fucking show.
Yeah.
Right.
It was too much.
But did you hear about? So she stands up really straight in the show, and they were like, oh, they were interviewing her after it ended, and they're like, oh, why, you always stood so tall. And she goes, no, my mom yelled at me my entire life for posture. So when I was 18 or whenever she got on the show, she stood up really straight, and then eventually, like, she asked the producers, she's like, is there any way I could just like chill in a chair? And he's like, no, it's your thing now. So she had to stand up straight for the 8-10 years that she was with it. It did work. But now she starts off every single thing like chillaxed, and every single show that she goes on from here on out. Yeah.
But she had the posture of a queen. In the
She
show,
did.
You know what I mean? She held
That's
it
right.
down, you know? She had that TED Talk body language, you know? Power poses. and shit.
Power poses.
You know? But I don't know. That show was fucking awesome. And I was going to say something about something, but I forgot what the fuck I was going to say.
That was good. That was a good topic point.
Yeah.
You're a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. You know?
Oh, so something I've learned about recently. We're going to talk about Down syndrome. I didn't just learn about Down syndrome.
I just found out that
but
I'm Down syndrome. This
That
is
was a
gonna be
good
great.
segue. Beautiful transition. That
I'm
was
always
great.
down to talk about downs. You know?
Down
I'm
to
the
talk
queen
about
of
that.
transitions.
I'm DDT. I'm down.
Yeah.
with it.
So they have this thing called, I think it's called mosaic Down syndrome, where you don't know you have Down syndrome.
That's beautiful.
I know a
It's
couple
crazy.
mosaic motherfuckers, and if that's the case, you know what I mean? I can think of a couple off the top of my head. You know?
But how liberating is that?
unaware.
Like, you don't maybe go through life knowing or feeling different, or
Yeah. They have a
they
lot
might have a
of
better outlook on life.
They do. They're
Yeah, I
always
guess.
happier.
Yeah.
And they're just vibing. But this
Or
this
it could be the
TikTok-
worst that they're just trying to figure out. It's like, how come I'm not quite as smart as everybody else?
Why
What
am
the
I not
fuck?
getting laid?
It's like,
I can't do
everybody-
geometry.
It's like, why can't I light this lighter? I don't. Everybody else sees the lighter. You know?
There's this TikToker that was talking about how she had 3 kids and all 3 of them have Down syndrome. And so the person was like, you must have Down syndrome. She's like, look at me. Like, I don't have Down syndrome. And so she got tested for it, and they had to do extensive testing and figures out she has what's called mosaic Down syndrome, and she, like, will just
So
keep
does she
giving
not
it.
have the features and the brain
What?
No.
disability?
So
Yeah.
in
No
what- in
brain
what
disability,
capacity
no
does she
nothing.
have Down syndrome?
So Down syndrome, it's something to do with
Chromosome.
something.
It's
I'm
extra
not
chromosome.
actually a
It's an
chemist or a
extra
I'm
doctor.
gonna look into this.
Yeah,
It's like
will you look it up?
It's an extra chromosome.
Yeah.
I don't think it's mosaic is the right word, but it sounds pretty.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because mosaic mask things, you know?
Mm.
It's like a mosaic feature or filter or something, you know?
It's just so interesting. Because that's when they asked Bobby Lee if he should get tested for Down syndrome.
Two types of cell, a mixture of 2 types of cells. Some have the usual 46 and some have 47. Those cells with 47 have an extra chromosome 21. It's weird.
Will you look up pictures? Just click on images.
Well, this is tamer than most of the podcasts we do. My Google search.
Yeah.
Mosaic.
Ye-
Down syndrome.
So the woman, yeah, that one is the one I was watching. So all of her kids have Down syndrome, but she obviously doesn't look like she has it.
Yeah, she
No,
does not
she
look
doesn't
Hold
look
up,
like it.
hold
She
up.
doesn't have any disabilities.
Because I think they're developmentally delayed as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, no, she
On top
doesn't.
of the physical features,
Yeah, dude, you
obviously.
can-
No, yeah, they are. Yeah, my
Right.
sister's best
Defining.
friend was. I grew up with.
You can't tell at
so
all.
that's it, really interesting that she's like fully.
But they're awesome and they're
functioning.
super fun.
Right?
And, like, honestly, like they know.
Oh,
how to,
our
they
kids are
figure life
really
out.
cute.
Yeah.
He's so happy.
You know?
And
Well,
so those
she
are
looks- she
like the
doesn't
3,
look-
one of the 3 kids. With
She looks like she
that
might have a little light.
have
on
Down
her,
syndrome.
You know?
yeah.
Light autism and
To
shit.
have 3 kids with Down syndrome, that's just a lot,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
I mean, that should be a giveaway.
Yeah.
Well, 2 giveaways,
I
yeah.
guess.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's like 3 different baby dads. I'm like, I don't know if it's me or
Well,
not.
Manny, I think you should get tested.
Yeah, while I'm at it, I got a
This
few
is your
other-
intervention.
Right.
While I'm at it, I got a few other things to get tested for. So
Just some of those
Doctors
crazy
work
things, like
different.
you go through your whole life not knowing that you have something and then figure it out, and you're like,
Do you
ah.
think you'd have an identity crisis? Like, who have I been?
Well,
I'm not who I thought I was.
I got diagnosed with bipolar last year, and so I almost don't think it's an identity crisis. It's validation, because you're like, I've always known this. There's always something that is different about me that's not the same as everybody else. I know because I've asked a lot. And then you figure it out, and you're finally like relieved. You're like, I knew it.
Yeah.
Or else you're a hypochondriac.
Which is so true. I mean, if you think about like how the conversation for mental health has turned over the last like decade or so,
Yeah.
there was even when I was younger, so many things that just went undiagnosed, unspoken about, and then there was a level of shame, even especially when it was a lot less embraced like it is now. There was a level of admitting that, like, oh, I don't even want to admit this, So for a lot of people, we did live that life where we weren't sure if we had something or not, And then once you just putting a name on something, just solidifies it so much that it's understanding, So
Then you make it a part of your personality, and that's all you talk about.
yeah.
Hey, it took you like 30 minutes for you to bring it up.
Yeah. This time,
That's
you're right.
incredible. Normally it's the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
She
You're
has
like,
been turning
"Shut
purple
up."
trying not to say bipolar. That was incredible. She has white knuckles. The wave of relief that just washed over Maddie. She's like,
finger.
I feel so great now. This was a good episode.
Get out. Remember, get out. The couch.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
That's funny. No, but it is. I think it's so awesome that you're so open about it. I'm still
A little too open about it. I noticed that I don't get offended with a lot of normal things. Like if you want to call me a bitch or a cunt, I'm okay with that. But if you call me,
right now?
yeah, go for it.
No, I'm not gonna
No, say it. No, say it. No, say it.
Say it.
Bitch.
Oh my God! I can't believe you called me a bitch.
Say it like you mean it. Cut.
But I noticed that because I try to make sure everything I'm saying and all my thoughts and thought processes are like pretty on par of how the world also views it. So if you call me delusional, I get actually really offended about it because I think so hard about it, and I don't want to get wrapped up in like me being mentally ill. It's like it's just very frustrating.
You don't want to like overthink.
Yeah, right. Well, no, I do overthink, but I overthink to make sure that other people think the same way that I do.
Well, you're doing a horrible job, I gotta say. I think.
Damn it!
The moment I saw you, I was like, you are delusional.
You are delusional. A little delulu.
No, but it is cool. I think it is cool to talk about it. And I think every time someone hears about it, or like, anytime someone hears you talk about it, it just gives them a little bit of encouragement to talk about it. So even on a small level, just one person with it, if they hear that, kind of helps out. So, all right, the more you know, we got to put that.
The more you know. Yeah.
Also, crack is bad if you don't have good friends with you. But if you have, a fourth of some vodka, you might be okay. A fourth of some vodka. I was trying to go quick. Is that a thing?
You mean a fifth?
A fifth,
Wow.
maybe. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean,
If you
Yeah,
have a
you
fourth
drink-
of a fifth.
You drink some before you fucking take the crack, and then then you.
Oh, that's how that works. Yes. Well, I wanted to talk about the Duggars.
Oh,
I
man,
do.
what are the Duggars?
Oh, I love I don't know if you could see, my shirt says not sponsored by the Catholic Church.
Nice.
Because I'm not.
Alright, she wasn't molested. That
I'm
makes
not
that
sponsored.
makes
Quit
one of the most.
asking. But I love talking about everything religion, how fucked up it is. It's so exciting. But Happy Shiny People is a documentary on Hulu or Amazon or whatever, and it's so crazy because the Duggar kids, a lot of the older ones, weren't even paid by the producers. So I forgot.
Well, there's 25 of them. I mean,
Right.
by the time you're profit sharing, everyone gets like 83
There's
cents.
It's 83.
5 of these motherfuckers.
I think there's 17 or
There's
18.
more than that. 21.
Well, okay, you got to
They
take
have,
it
like-
way back to the fundamentals.
So 21.
Backtrack, how many kids? 19 and counting.
What?
Yeah,
Is it
that's-
19?
Counting.
That was 2002.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
W-
Are
And
we
it's
still
been
count-
7 seasons
Wait.
since then, so
All
I
these
think
people
it's
are
like
coming out of one person?
21.
Probably
People
20,
coming
is
out
it
of one
21 now?
person? Is it all one mother?
Mother and father, yeah.
What?
Yeah, one baby daddy.
19 kids?
No, yeah, 19.
Is it 19?
19.
Oh, I thought she put out more.
Stop. How
So
are
I wasn't
you
far
how is
off
this
when I was
legal?
exaggerating with 25.
Yeah, right.
What the fuck?
Wait,
But I love how he had to fact check you.
How have I not heard of the Duggars?
where are all these, like, Where is this at?
One of them is in prison for molesting
what
the
are-
other kids.
What?
Yeah. Something.
Kid
something
7 is
bad.
arrested for molesting number 6
One
and
of
4.
them is a molester. I know that.
For sure. Josh
For
Duggar.
molesting the other children. That's
He was molesting somebody.
They all have names and they're all like.
Statistically speaking, they're not all going to turn out okay.
No, statistically
Right.
speaking,
What
you
I
should
mean.
have
Right.
a basketball player in there. You should have a star
white.
athlete in there. You should have a fucking...
No.
Statistically speaking, like probably half of them are gay too, but they'll,
Yeah.
never,
Probably.
they'll never come out because they're religious.
100%.
Oh, are they religious?
Oh, they,
Do
well,
you
you don't
know
have
what
19
state this
kids
is?
in that. What state?
What state is
He
it?
was
I don't
an
know.
atheist with 19 fucking kids.
Yeah, it was 19 kids. I
If I
don't.
had to guess, I'd say Utah, but I'm
That feels good.
That's Mormon. That might
That
be...
sounds
no, I
about
think
right.
they're-
Mormon.
I'm gonna
they're-
say
It's gotta be-
Iowa.
it's
I'm gonna
gotta
say
be
some-
Mormon,
I'm gonna
yeah.
say
I
some
think they're
Iowa
Mormon or
Midwest.
Mormon adjacent. It's very up there.
Mormon adjacent. That's even worse. You know?
Arkansas, Mormon
It
adjacent.
was some Midwest shit. That's the heart of the country shit right there, bro.
No, not
Kansas.
Mormon.
Yeah, it's.
Independent Baptist.
Can I get a
Well, you-
group picture of all these kids? It's just gonna look like one of those.
Do that and then
football
look up
roster
all the
pictures, you know what I'm
names.
talking about? There's a bunch of people on
Look
the...
up the. Oh wait, I had the names right here.
Yeah, look up.
Oh wait,
Oh, they're
no,
all
not
like
this one.
Jedediah.
Yeah,
I know, Josiah.
Josh,
Yeah.
Jennifer,
I think
Jedediah.
they are Jays. It's horrifying.
Here,
Oh
you
my
just take
God,
the
all
cast
day.
from the show.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Oh my god.
Show more.
Show
it's-
more.
Oh my god,
Bro,
there's
they got
3
more...
rows of
Bro.
children.
Oh,
Bro, this is
God.
like the cast of like The Wire or something. So many well, I mean, not the color, but just the amount of fucking. cast
So
members in
Jill was the one that was talking about how she gave birth on the show, and she had to have all of this stuff. She got signed in by her dad to do another 5 seasons, whatever it is. Never got paid from it personally from the producer. She contacted the producer and goes, "Hey, can you guys at least like pay for my hospital bills or whatever?" And the producer goes, "We already paid your dad."
Damn.
It's so crazy.
Wait, who's
Jill, the one
Like
that
the grandfather? They paid the grandfather?
no, the dad,
Their
Oh, they
father.
paid the father. Okay.
the
but
father.
What do you do with the money?
He kept it.
But they're together, right?
He's got 19 kids to feed. He needs,
Yeah.
Oh, that first that sounds quote is crazy. There's
he
not
needs
even,
the money.
That's a lot of house.
He's with the wife, right?
Yeah.
Thank God. I mean, there's no way he's ever that. I mean, we would never see a cent for the rest of his life, bro. That motherfucker divorces that woman. You know
Yeah,
what
that
I mean?
alimony is probably $2 million a month.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
at least, you know, and it's crazy. Yeah, but so that's crazy. What is he doing with the money? He didn't have
He
money
kept it
for what?
for stuff.
That's crazy.
Well, they actually ended up asking him for the money eventually, and when they got paid back from everything that they did on the show, they got paid less than minimum wage. So they did not make money off the show damn near at all.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
They
What?
just made some money, but they
They
probably
signed with
did-
TLC. That's
They-
like the cheap network.
For-
That's
yeah,
like the
yeah,
Kmart
yeah,
of
Right.
that's like-
reality
But
TV
the
network.
That's like a
dad-
step below. Above Hallmark Channel. And
The,
shit, you know what I mean?
the dad decided what they got paid. It's not that he couldn't afford more.
Oh.
It's the dad was being a dick,
That's
Oh,
crazy.
so-
isn't it?
Well, TLC still blows.
Yeah. Okay, Toddlers and Tiaras, loved.
Insane.
That's a
Awesome.
weird show.
90 Day Fiance is
Is-
entertaining.
It is very
I
entertaining.
love watching the
Yeah, my
women.
sisters watched that one.
What?
What, 90
90 Day Fiance?
That's just sad.
Yeah, 90 Day.
It's
That's
a
sad.
banger of a show.
I love when the women come over from overseas
Mm-hmm.
and they move in with these American men that just live in the middle of nowhere in Kansas.
Yeah.
This is not Times Square.
Yeah.
This is not what I
No,
signed
no,
up
no, no.
for.
And they
Where
don't-
is Hollywood? And they're like,
No.
that's a 7-hour
It's-
plane ride and you'll need $2,000 to get there. They're like, what?
Yeah,
You didn't tell me this.
So now they're just like indentured servants to these creepy dudes.
It's so
so
gross.
entertaining.
I mean, how
They're like,
cre-
it's
how
not worth
creepier
it.
can
I don't
you
want to
get?
be American anymore.
Yeah. How creepier can you get to be one of those people who fucking mail order a bride and then put it on fucking TV? You know? What
Yeah.
I mean? That's crazy. Do you remember that
Not
No
too
Neck
shabby.
Ned, whatever his name was?
Oh yeah, big Ed.
That dude looked like he grew off of somebody else and shit. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like a
yeah.
fucking tumor and shit. You know?
Yes, he's
You
a
see him?
mole of a person.
Yeah,
So gross.
And then he was like, and then his little Filipino girlfriend did not want to. She didn't want to kiss him. Nothing.
He
I
was
mean,
like
dude,
rubbing her feet, and she was
Bro,
like,
it's so rough. Some people, I mean, God bless his soul, man. Some people just are not, you know. there's ugly, and then there's just, oh my god, there's some people, you know what I mean?
But for him,
pigtails aside, I got.
when he was younger, he didn't look too bad. He looked like he had a small neck, but like it looked like there was one. But it's the fact that he's fat and he has a terrible personality, and he's also not good looking, and he doesn't make enough money to make all those things work.
Yeah. That's true. I feel like men.
It's fair.
Yeah, if you make a lot of money, you can always mask.
If you even have a good personality, a personality really does go a very long way.
And is it worse because he doesn't have a particularly like asshole personality?
He does. No, he's an asshole.
He just has a very like, from what I see, he just has like a very unconfident, unenthusiastic, no charisma. No charisma.
Well, he actually is a narcissist. Yeah, narcissist. He's an asshole. He's a liar.
Shit? Like,
Yeah. No, he's like you have to watch some of the clips.
What the
Like
fuck
he's
is he
done to
lying about?
it's just gross. And then okay, do you think because I forgot her name, but the newer girlfriend that they've been together, it was like his last shot at love. You know that one?
They like appear to be very in love.
Very in love.
But I think she's playing the game.
I think she's playing the game.
She's like, I want to be on this TV show as long as humanly possible.
Right.
Yeah.
But like,
women do that all the time.
I get
Anna
it.
Nicole Smith was in love with her.
Hey, I think that.
Whoa, that's going too far.
That was true love, okay? That was true love, okay?
Or all the Playboy bunnies were in love with Hugh
Yeah,
Hefner. Like,
yeah.
women have been doing this since the beginning of time.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
women are entrepreneurs. Men are silly.
Yeah, I know. They say the sex trade is like the oldest profession and shit. Like,
Yeah,
It
she's
is.
just trying to get her bag.
Yeah,
Let her
for
go
sure.
for it.
That's how the fall of man happened. Eve she knew the deal. She was like, hey, you don't want this apple? She was like, how about now? You want this apple right now? He went and took a little bite of that thing, And then the Bible got fun after that.
Did you hear that Holly Madison is autistic?
Are we shocked by
Is she
that?
mosaic?
I was a little shocked. You were not?
She had such a hard time connecting with everyone in the house. Like, I don't think
This is so funny.
she like hated everybody, but her reasoning, I could see some neurodivergence there. She she was not like compromising. She couldn't connect with other people. People would try to connect with her too and like be super nice, and she just like was very like stubborn and disconnected. I don't know. I don't think I'm that surprised.
If if this is a spectrum, 1 being you can't even tell it all, hardly autistic, 10 being fucking Rain Man type shit, where would she be at?
I would say like a quarter in.
Well, because you can't
she's
do
like
it
that.
based
Like,
on
you're
like.
really make you quantify someone's autism.
I think you're trying to do it based on how she like looks because she is beautiful.
No,
I
not but it's a
understand
social
that.
thing. It's not really so much.
But
like
yeah,
that.
I think like some of the social stuff. I mean, I'm no expert, but I'm like,
You sure? 'Cause that's why we
some
brought
of
you
it
here.
makes some of it adds up.
Well, I didn't watch the show. Well, I did. I was really, really young, so when I watched it, I was like, oh my god, she's such a bitch. And like that's kind of just like where I left it at that because I don't remember how
She's
old
probably
I was.
overstimulated by
she
living
was-
in a Playboy
I
mansion and having
know.
cameras in her face.
This is from the Playboy show. Who is
Playboy,
this?
Holly Madison, the one that slept in his bed,
That's funny.
Hugh Hefner's bed.
She was like the main squeeze.
She was the
one that
main
got,
one.
Like cuddle
And
time at night.
it's so funny because when she was talking about it, she said, "Oh yeah, I did really well in the mansion because there was all these rules." And the rules were set out.
yeah.
Hey, listen,
So of course she did
set up
really
for her
well.
autism.
Yeah,
It was like, it's 3
perfect.
o'clock. I gotta eat right now. What's the matter?
Yeah, I was really shocked by it. Now, like watching her talk and everything, I was like, no, I see it now. But
Yeah.
And autism
So
is another
crazy.
thing too that like over the last like 5-6 years, it's like everyone has autism. It became suddenly so mainstream. Not that it was like hidden and behind the curtains before, but it's just over to like, am I right or wrong? It's like everyone has autism now. I hear it all the time. It's almost like ADHD.
Seems that way.
seems that way.
It does seem that way. I don't know if there was maybe some kind of advancement in or like breakthrough in the understanding of it that kind of brought it more to the zeitgeist. But I feel like.
Well, and it's also interesting to think about all the studies that they do, and they're like, oh yeah, men get diagnosed with autism twice as more than women do, but that's not necessarily true. It's just because like we have our own little fixations that we like to do because we don't like fucking trains, not fucking trains. We don't like
fucking
trains, but like we are fixated on clothes, for example. That's such a social
she's
norm.
so pro woman that she can't even give us autism. She's like, you motherfuckers are not autistic at a high rate. That's also more patriotic bullshit.
I have heard that it is harder to spot in girls. I don't know the reasoning, but it is like I think they can just spot it faster and earlier in men.
In men.
Yeah, we're just dumbasses.
Right,
Yeah.
because we're
Yeah, like, something's wrong with
There's
this.
something. There's clearly
Bring him
something.
in.
As soon as they walk into the room, they're like, "Oh, that guy definitely."
And then with girls, they're like, "Oh, thank God, we just have a quiet little
She's
obedient
quiet.
girl."
She's
Thank
so mature
God.
for her age.
She's like, "I'm failing school.
Yeah.
Like, help me!" And they're like, "Shh."
You're doing great.
Yeah.
It's even harder to spot in African American women. And so
my God.
this one TikToker was talking, and she was like, "Do you know how autistic I had to be to get diagnosed at 6 as a black woman?"
He's like, "Are you sure, doctor?"
No, yeah,
Yeah, they're like, "You are off the charts, baby girl."
Yeah, there's no way of avoiding that.
Yeah, I wish one episode Maddie could not be racist. You know, I wish it would just like happen in one episode. You know, just magically. You know, she doesn't.
To
bring
be
up
fair, I've been
racism.
better this episode.
Yeah, you have been better. Okay, yeah, she's been doing good. You know, it was what 30 minutes for to talk about mental health. It's been like an hour since you
Yeah.
you know
Right
been
around there.
racist. You know, which is not too shabby.
Did
late,
it?
Nick.
Did it?
Bring
Did
up
it? Okay. What's the? Did you ever tell a lie to get a guy, or has a guy ever
this is
lied?
good.
Yeah, to get you.
Well, yes. First off,
I don't know about a lie.
Exaggeration.
There was a guy that I was dating, and we were dating long distance. And I shouldn't say it was a lie, but I felt very bamboozled.
Oh yeah.
He was like, "We're going to Costa Rica. My best friend's family has a house there." And my passport was expired. So I'm like doing all of the steps to like get to Costa Rica. And then the closer we would get, because he was like, "We're going in like September," like whenever the trip was supposed to be. And then the more things I would do, renew my passport, like, you know, buy new luggage or like all this stuff. I'm like taking all the right steps. And then the closer we would get, like the more vague he would get about Costa Rica. And then he like just broke up with me before we even like bought plane tickets. And I'm like, "Was
my
Costa
God.
Rica even real? I went to the post office for you, you dick!
Oh, so it's not. You're just not quite sure.
What is going
That's
on?"
funny. That's funny.
So I like think about Costa, like every time I pull
Every
every time
about
I get
Costa
my
Rica.
passport out, I'm like, this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, because it's valid for 10 years.
Right,
so like
right,
this
right.
is the passport that I got for him for Costa Rica.
You ever just think about going to Costa Rica and like sending him a postcard
I
or some
should.
shit?
fucking
You should
do
hit up
that
his
shit.
friend's
Yeah.
parents who own the
I went
house.
to the downtown Chicago post office. That's where people go to die. For you! For no trip! Like, oh
It's
my
so
God.
funny.
It's humiliating. I think about it every time I get
Yeah,
my
but you're
passport.
not 100% sure if he lied. He might
He
just been
did.
like, you know?
He definitely- Or he was like, "I'm not taking this bitch."
yeah, he was like, "Man, the other girl's
She was
hotter."
cool 3 months ago.
Yeah,
Some
he's
shit like
like,
that.
is she getting crazier
Yeah.
and crazier?
Yeah, that is.
Do you still have the luggage?
No, that should be
Okay, okay.
Luggage does
Donated
not
it.
last forever. But like,
But-
God, the password, that's a 10-year
That is a
commitment.
10-year commitment.
So,
man, well,
anyways,
but
Ian,
it-
fuck
but
you
he-
if you're listening. You fucking loser.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck you,
Ian.
Ian. Fuck you, Ian. Any, you know what I mean? Any
And
girl
fuck
go-
Costa Rica.
Ian from Costa
Yeah.
The
Rica.
whole place.
I don't
Yeah.
even think I want to go. There's wild monkeys there. I'm out.
It's the whole, it's like South America. There's all this places. You got Mexico. You got fucking. Come on, step your shit up, Costa Rica. Ain't nobody going to Costa Rica. You know? She's like, no.
I was trying to think. I had a brain fart for a second. And I was like, wait, do you even need a passport to get to Costa Rica?
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah.
And then I was thinking of Puerto Rico. Puerto
yeah.
Rico is the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
like
Well,
sovereign.
Maddie's not
But
the
you
only
don't need
racist
a
one, they
passport
say
to get there. You need a passport to get back
From Puerto Rico?
from Puerto
You
Rico.
know, I've been there back and forth. You do not.
To
Yeah.
passport?
No,
Puerto Rico's like flying
it's
domestic.
a U.S. like
it's a
state.
US
or
territory.
something.
It's like
Oh,
flying
territory.
domestic.
That's the word.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I went like last year. I don't remember.
they just
It was a
didn't trust
good
you.
trip.
They bamboozled
Yeah,
you.
They just didn't trust
They're
you
like, we
leaving.
just want to check her address, see where
Yeah.
this bitch lives.
That's funny. No, but I thought you were gonna say it wasn't quite a cat. You don't think it was a catfish, though, right? Like, do you video chat with that motherfucker and things like that?
No, so we had met, like, we met in Chicago, and then he happened to live
Oh.
in Oklahoma. We met at this, like, very touristy bar, and
Oh.
so he was in from out of town, and, like, we just hit it off, like, really quickly, and we just kept in touch, like, kept each
Oh, so it
other's
wasn't like a
numbers,
dating
and then
app
he would
type
fly
shit.
to Chicago often for work. So
I see.
we, like, he was
Okay,
very
so it was
much
real. You touched
real.
him and
He
shit.
was
It was
real.
tangible. You know?
But it was fun. I mean, long distance relationships, like, I highly recommend. At least,
Yeah.
like, once in your life. I think they're very fun because when you're together, you're in your little, like, love bubble, and it's just,
Mm-hmm.
like, super fun. But when you're apart, it's obviously very hard. But there's nothing I haven't experienced like that much like euphoria with a partner.
I know
but it's
exactly
like
what you
it's
mean.
so high
Yeah.
and so low that like I don't think it's
Yeah.
sustainable for me mentally.
Yeah, I
but
see that.
like it's fun when you're like
it is. It's
Yeah.
like it's this forced separation. A lot of times I have like such a like my biggest issues with relationships is I rush it a lot. So like there's always like I feel like sometimes I get a little too physical too quickly with a girl or something like that. But then in long-term relationships you're like forced this distance. So you're not even seeing them. You're not really hanging out with them.
and
you're
you can
talking to them.
talk all the
And
time.
every
and
time
build
you
that
talk to them, you're
emotional
like, I can't
bond.
wait to see you. I
Yeah,
can't wait.
yeah.
It's gonna hold you.
They are very intense.
I
like,
know.
I like don't know if I could do it like forever, but I think
That's a
it's
good
fun to
point, though.
experience like
That was a very
once
good
in your
point,
life.
yeah.
Like have a little fun, do long distance, get crazy. But
But long term though, I don't know if that. I mean, I've seen certain people do it. Like, not do it long term, but I've seen relationships that lasted start off where there was like a long term distance phase.
I've seen like
Yeah.
married couples where like if someone has to travel for work, like they do get that like time apart and like missing each other after
Yeah,
you've
which
been
is
together
good,
for
right.
fucking 15 years.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
that doesn't sound half
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
but
No,
it's
how
like-
important is that to you? Because I feel like I do get to the point. I was telling Manny this. Like when I'm in a relationship, there's this aspect of it which is undeniable. It's like you don't really know that person, and it's cute, and it's like there's a veil of you getting to know them, right? Like you're trying to get to know them, and that's like, and I feel like that's when when you feel super attached to them. What's the word I'm looking for? Infatuated with them. You start feeling all that, those little bubble guts and stuff, you get butterflies in your stomach when you think about them.
No, it sounds
Or,
like you ate cheese.
But then it's like, yeah, I have gas. I'm sorry. No, but then when you and then it's like when they move in, sometimes the lifting of that veil is just so aggressive and so much, sharing bathrooms, all type of shit, and it's just like, in a way, it's kind of like I wish I can keep that aspect of it to a certain degree, and maybe not, but I don't know. So I struggle with that a little bit. I feel like that's when relationships for me start to get a little boring or a little
Right. So you moved in with your boyfriend, right? Are you the one who bought the house, or did y'all buy together?
So we bought it together. We're both on the mortgage.
That's a commitment.
We're very committed. So I know we're going to be together forever. He's
Well, at
definitely,
least
like,
until your passport expires.
So getting a house to me was way more important than like getting married.
Oh, for
getting
sure.
a ring. Like my plan was budget for the house first. Let's get a house that we'll love, and a wedding is just one night. So
Yeah.
a wedding is a
Yeah,
down
I get
payment
that.
on a house.
I
in
get
my
Right.
opinion. So I'm like, fuck that. Let's
That
save for the down payment, get the house that we want, that we're going to be in for several years. And then like now we can budget for whatever we want. I don't even
Yeah.
know what I want in terms of like a wedding aspect. So super happy. I would say our relationship, we met 6 months before the pandemic started. So I think
Oh.
the pandemic is definitely a pressure cooker of
Oh yeah.
you're the only person I'm spending time with, because
Yeah.
we're in our bubble. And at that point, it was like, if you see other people, you're going to kill your family. That's what they're telling you on the news. So,
How did you guys make out during social distancing? How did that work out?
well, we met 6 months before the
I was
pandemic.
just being
So we
silly.
were already swapping spit well before. So, yeah. And then during the pandemic, we lived together with his parents in Florida,
Oh.
in Fort Myers, for like months at a time. So we had kind of trials of living together. And then I deserve a fucking medal living with his parents during a pandemic. And like living with him for the first time.
wow.
So that was an interesting dynamic. So
Hopefully they don't tune into this episode.
like going through all of these, trials, and we had to really get to know each other and like tear down those veils really quickly,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it was
yeah.
like, this is kind of it. The world might be ending. We might be dying. Like,
Yeah.
But we're gonna do it at your
exactly.
parents' house.
yeah, we're gonna. I mean, they have a pool, so it was the best. So yeah, and then like moving in together, we were probably together for like 2 years before we officially we moved in together. We moved to Tampa, moved in together for the first time.
Oh.
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
And it just worked out. I mean, we had driven across the country several times together, from like Chicago to Florida to stay with his parents, and he's just a very even-keeled person.
Yeah,
I'm very
important.
high-strung, very anxious. Like, I will get fired up
So he
very
levels
quickly,
you out a
and
little
he's
bit.
super calm, and it's a really good dynamic. He's like, you pull me out of my shell, and he kind of like helps me get a grip on things.
No,
you
that's-
know?
Yeah, I do
it's
know.
good. It's
So
good
it's
to find that
good.
balance,
Yeah,
you know?
he's a very good match for me, and we've been together 4 years, and like I'm still obsessed with him. Like he's my
Aw.
favorite person
Aw.
ever. Yeah.
It's funny. Does he have a big
That's
penis? I think is what we want to know. I'm joking. You don't have to answer that.
What's
Unless he does, then you
something
wouldn't
that living with him that annoys you? It's just like the small thing that's like,
Yeah.
why do
These
you
questions.
do that?
Yeah, why do you hate your
The
husband?
biggest thing that annoys me, I think he like has a radar. We'll be in the same room for like an hour.
Yeah.
And we won't talk to each other. We'll be like doing our own thing. I'll
Sure.
be making my own lunch. She'll be like watching TV. The second I leave the room to like go take a shower or like go get changed or get ready for something, now he has stuff to say. So he's like shouting to me from across the house, and finally I just get to the point where I'm like, I'm not listening because I can't hear you. I'm 3 rooms away. Where were you when I was in the room with you sitting on the couch?
Yeah.
What the fuck? It like makes me crazy because I can only hear like 1/3 of what he's fucking saying, and it's like muffled. And I'm like, can you like please just talk to me when I'm in the room?
Yeah, men are we're very similar to kids or small dogs. You know,
Yeah.
the moment the owner gets up, we're just like, where are you going? You want something?
Yeah, and I'm like, if you something to say, please come into the room because I'm
They
doing
just
like
want
come
your
to me
attention.
if it's so important. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna like try to have this conversation
He just wants
from
your
across the
attention.
house.
He just wants your
I know, he
attention.
just wants your attention.
every
you know?
time. I'm like, are you nuts?
You think he might
Yes.
have a
What are you
case
doing?
Of,
I feel like I'm going crazy.
you think he might have a case of mosaic Down syndrome? Or
Maybe I'm the one with it, probably.
I just want to tell you, it's very nice today.
God, that was bad. Edit that out. Marker, edit that. Fucking
You
cancel.
can't say that. I know. Man. I was here. Man, I'm gonna have 20 subscribers when I
Yeah,
I was looking good for that 21. You know, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right.
we're
Well,
fucking
this
done for now.
was a fantastic
Yeah, it was-
podcast. Thank
it
you
was
for
really
coming.
nice.
Thank
I
you
don't
so
know
much
if
for
I feel
having
like I
me.
might have seen. Have you ever been to Spitfires or?
I used to host the mic at Spitfire.
Yeah, so I think I saw you there one
Yeah.
time. You know, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, perhaps I thought
Then they
so.
fired me.
Wait, when did
They
they fire
Spitfired
you?
you?
Well, they didn't necessarily fire me. They just want to focus exclusively on improv there. It's just more of a revenue generator,
yeah.
shocker.
Wait.
And
You didn't
Wait,
know
when
that?
did that happen?
Like a couple months ago.
I think, gosh, it might have been like before the summer, maybe like May
Yeah.
or June.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you were hosting when I had my favorite bomb that's ever happened in my entire life.
Oh, tell me.
So they've heard the story so many times, but so I was up there doing my thing, and there was this old man sitting in the front row and with his wife, and he was going like, you know, like I stink and stuff like that. And so I was getting to the last 20 seconds of my set, and he stood up and he said, I can't hear any more of this, and made him and his wife leave.
Oh my God. I don't think I was there for that.
No,
I would
no.
remember that.
No, you look. Somebody that
I
was.
think that might have been the last one that they had.
It was the last one, was it? Yeah, it was the
You
last
went out
one.
with a bang, girl. You know.
Yeah.
Early
Was
dismissal
I
for
there?
that
Maybe
motherfucker.
I
think-
blacked it out of my memory.
I
No,
think
no.
you were there.
Were you there?
Because like after you said Spitfire, it kind of clicked for
Which
me.
I think-
Gosh.
think
well,
that's
hopefully I defended you after.
Yeah,
So-
no, I think.
I
think
don't
it's the
think we
same
talked
night.
after.
I don't think
I
she
wa-
hosted that night. Honestly.
No.
No.
I feel like I would remember that. That's wild.
But I remember that night. I usually try to show love for the most part. Like when
Yeah.
comics are going, I hear a lot of people say, and I always try to hang out, but I always try to show love. I remember I walked in that set. She was going. I walked right the fuck back out. I was like, this isn't fun. You know what I mean?
This was, it wasn't for me.
You know?
That's what I
But
learned.
that's also the
Yeah.
same night where we decided to
Do
the
podcast, yeah.
Right in
There
front of
you
Swiss
go.
Family. Yeah, there you go.
And then
So-
you kept getting back on stage. So
I
that's all
did.
that matters. Fuck that old guy.
Yeah. I
That
think
always
it's
cracks me
so
up though
funny.
when an audience member just has enough of it. He's just fucking.
Not
he
only
just
that,
can't-
but
he just gets up, you know?
announces it. I've had enough. And just walks out.
That's
Like the
Sorry.
fucking
The
king of the
confidence
room or
of
something.
that man.
Yeah,
I know.
He deserved
You can't
confidence.
just quietly sneak
like-
out.
Was he also 400 pounds? You think there was like
No,
correlation there?
no,
Was it
no.
the same guy just fucking terrorizing female comics? Or
I immediately got off stage, and the funniest thing was I ended up following them out.
Oh man.
And so,
Oh, that's so
God, that's
awkward.
wild.
You like hold the door for him.
yeah. Well, I was walking out, and they were outside too, and they were like, and they like scurried
What if you
away.
look in front of them and like, you have something to say?
You're so tough now, bitch.
That's great.
That's funny.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming. I thought
Yeah,
it was
really
such a
pleasure.
delightful
You know,
talk.
it was really
Great.
fun talk.
Thank
you.
you.
It was.
guys.
All right, and this is
Yeah.
You Can't Say That. Good talk.
Good motherfucking talk.
I don't know
Yeah.
what camera to point
It
at.
was
Good
that
talk.
one.
Good- good talk.
That was all
Follow me
me.
on Instagram,
There
MKB
it is.
Oh,
Comedy.
yeah, 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 you plug your shit. There we go.
MKB.comedy, and then TikTok is MaryKate.Beck. I'll see you there.
Ayo.
Yeah, you get to do any shows soon or anything like that?
Oh,
I produce Don't Tell comedy shows. You can find me like in the Tampa, St. Pete areas.
Hey.
But yeah, if you come to any Don't Tell comedy more often than not, I will be hosting.
Don't Tell comedy.
Ayo.
Check it out. I'm
Yeah.
gonna check it out. All right, but I won't tell nobody because you know what's the tongue.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Good talk.
Good
That was
talk.
fun. All right.
Thank you.